Welcome to another episode of Charitably Speaking. The Tucson Realtors Charitable Foundation has begun a spotlight series. Each month we will feature local charities as part of a theme. This month's theme is the forgotten child. With all the back to school activity, we want to make sure no child is left behind. And today, as part of our spotlight series, we have the pleasure of talking to Chief Executive Officer for Youth on Their Own, Elizabeth Slater. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, great. Well, let's get right into it. What is Youth on Their Own's mission?
The mission of Youth on Their Own is to support the high school graduation and continued success of youth experiencing homelessness. So we serve middle school and high school youth aged 12 to 21. And our primary mission is to support them in completing school. It's very common for homeless teens to drop out of high school because they need to earn money to provide all the things a parent would provide: food, clothing, hygiene items, school supplies. So we try to support them in their efforts to stay in school and on track to graduate.
How many children are you currently serving?
Well, our enrollment starts every year on an academic year. So we're just enrolling students now for this year, but we expect to serve 1,500 youth this year, middle school and high school students.
That's amazing. What do you think the bigger challenge is for Youth on Their Own? Is it volunteers or dollars raised or maybe something else?
Our biggest challenge right now is a direct relation to COVID. So during COVID-19, we know what happened last year during the school year. A lot of youth, almost all youth, went home to learn remotely. That is really hard to do if you don't have a home. So we saw homeless teens leaving school at enormous rates, much higher than usual. So in a normal year where we would expect 1,500 homeless youth to be enrolled in Youth on Their Own, we were at half that last year because we couldn't find them. And this isn't a unique problem to Tucson. This is across the country. There's a real epidemic of youth experiencing homelessness, just disengaging from school. It was really not manageable for them to continue learning remotely. They didn't have a consistent, a kitchen table to sit at to do their studies. They didn't have an adult helping them set up the Wi-Fi. It's really hard to do Zoom school if you don't have a place to do it. So I would say our biggest focus as an organization is re-engaging these youth this year to get them back in school. We have incentives for them to do that, and we're trying to just reduce whatever barriers they have to re-engaging in school. That is our top focus, and it is a huge challenge, not just with us, but with every school district in our county. And so we're really partnering with a lot of other organizations to try to find these youth and get them back enrolled in school.
I was going to say that has to be the difficult part, because if they've disengaged and they've moved and you only have wherever their last known location was, and maybe their phone isn't working or whatever, how do you re-engage? That's got to be really tough.
It is tough. We actually don't think most of them have left the area. So that's a good thing. We can find them, and we can, school isn't just a place to learn. If you're a young person experiencing homelessness, it's also where you eat. A lot of meals are served there, and it's where you connect to a lot of other services. And uniquely for homeless youth, it's kind of the invisible problem, because we don't see children sleeping on the sidewalk or in parks very often. They're actually usually couch surfing. So they might stay with me for a couple of weeks, then they stay with you for a couple of weeks, and they hop around. It's really unstable, but they have that network of people who are kind of looking out for them temporarily while they provide for their own basic needs. Usually they still have to provide their own food and clothing. So school is a great place to go if you're a young person looking for a couch, because all of a sudden you have all these friends at school, and you can start asking around, hey, can I stay with you for a few weeks? Then you have somebody else to stay with. So school actually serves a lot of purposes for youth experiencing homelessness. And we think we will see them show back up, because there's so much that they can access, so much help they can get through their school system. And that's where we serve them. We find a lot of our youth at their school site, and that's where we connect with them and offer our services to them too.
With all the back to school promotions that are going on, do you find that that's a help or a hindrance in terms of fundraising?
I think it's a huge help. Any opportunity we have to raise awareness about the back to school season and what that means for different kinds of youth, For a young person experiencing homelessness, back to school means a lot of different things. They don't just need notebooks and pens. They also need food. They need socks. They need things that a parent isn't there to provide. So I think all the back to school promotions are fantastic and extremely helpful, especially for organizations with a education mission, because it gives us the chance to talk about what back to school looks like for all these different types of young people and the different supports they're going to need in order to succeed in school this year.
So for somebody who decides to donate today, what could they expect their dollars to be going towards?
That's a great question. So we definitely provide really standard back to school items like school supplies, any kind of a notebook, pencils, that kind of stuff. But what a student really needs now to succeed in school is also technology. So we provide laptops, we provide hotspots, ways for them to connect. But what I was also saying is back to school for young people experiencing homelessness also means that they need a lot of personal items. So some of the funding would be used to supplement the donations that we're receiving for food, shelf-stable food, socks, underwear. Hygiene supplies are really important for a teen. If you want a teenager to show up to school, they won't do it unless they have access to hygiene supplies, because they need deodorant or foot powder, especially if they're not taking a shower every day. So you can imagine that's a really important thing for teenagers too. So the donations will also help us basically prepare students to show back up in a school setting, all the things they would need.
So, every charity has what they can do now, what they hope to do in the future, and a pipe dream that seems beyond reach. What's Youth on Their Own's pipe dream?
I love that you asked that, because we like to dream big. So we definitely have a pipe dream, which is that, there are young people experiencing homelessness all across the country. And Youth on Their Own offers a unique model. Most organizations serving youth experiencing homelessness don't focus on education. That's not their core mission. But we think we can really break the cycle of poverty if we can utilize education to give more opportunity to these young people. So our pipe dream is we'd like to see Yodo everywhere. We would like organizations like Yodo or replicas of Youth on Their Own to pop up in cities all around the country and see how we can really use this special, unique model to help this really important population. So Yodo everywhere, that's our pipe dream.
Well, I was going to say it's a nice start when you think nationally, but if we're going really big, we should be thinking globally, shouldn't we?
We definitely should. Thank you.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of our very first Spotlight series.
We're so grateful that you've selected Youth on Their Own as one of the partners that you're highlighting. And thank you so much for everything you do for us and for our students.
Oh, you bet. Viewers, you can donate now by clicking the link below. Let's leave no child left behind. Thank you.